This is the Wizard News. A movement to weaken American child labor protections at the state level began in 2022. By June 2023, Arkansas, Iowa, New Jersey, and New Hampshire had enacted this kind of legislation, and lawmakers in at least another 8 states had introduced similar measures. The laws generally make it easier for kids from 14 to 17 years old to work longer and later, and in occupations that were previously off limits for minors. Scholars of child labor find the arguments politicians are using today to justify undoing child labor protections echo older justifications made decades ago. Many conservatives and business leaders have long argued that federal child labor rules are not necessary. Some object to the government determining who cannot work. Cultural conservatives say working has moral value for young people and that parents should make decisions for their children. Many conservatives say that teens could help fill empty jobs in tight labor markets. Opponents of child labor observe that when kids under 18 work long hours or do strenuous jobs, it can disrupt childhood development, interfere with their schooling, and deprive them of the sleep they need. Expanding child labor can encourage kids to drop out of school and jeopardize young people's health through injuries and work-related illnesses. Child labor protections, such as making many kinds of employment for children under 14 illegal and restricting the hours that teens under 18 can spend working, are guaranteed by the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938. U.S. law also does not treat 16 and 17-year-olds as adults. The federal government deems many occupations to be too hazardous for anyone under 18. Until that law took effect, the lack of a federal standard always obstructed progress in the states toward keeping kids in school and out of mines, factories, and other sometimes hazardous workplaces. Both federal and state laws govern the employment of minors, and all states have compulsory school attendance laws. Federal laws set a floor of regulations in youth employment that cover maximum hours, minimum ages, wages, and protections from hazardous jobs. If states pass tougher laws, the stricter standards govern workplace practices. School attendance requirements vary by state, but once someone turns 18, they are no longer covered by the Fair Labor Standards Act's restrictions. Federal law does not require minors to obtain work permits or employment certificates, but most states mandate such documentation. With the exception of New Jersey, these efforts to weaken child labor laws are being led by Republicans. Democrats in Colorado introduced a bill that would allow injured children to sue employers for child labor violations. Governor Jared Polis signed it into law on June 7, 2023. Having child labor laws on the books at both the federal and state levels is only half the battle. Enforcement is another matter. Many violations in recent years have involved children who immigrated to the United States without their parents, only to wind up working long hours, sometimes in dangerous jobs, at young ages. Source: The Conversation, June 26, 2023.